Today, I'm heading to my kinda local Can-Am dealer. The Spyder broke a little, and I'm going to go see if they can get the part, or even more unlikely if they have one in stock. Originally, I planned on making this two videos, a Spyder ride and a Spyder repair. But as you'll see, there were issues with both parts that make neither part, in my opinion, able to stand on their own. So hopefully, I will have successfully combined them into something watchable. See, the other day, as I was wiping the winter dust off the Spyder, I gently bumped the license plate light cover. I know I hit it, nothing seemed out of place, and I certainly didn't think it was broken. Well, I was wrong. After a short ride, I got to my destination. All that was left was a piece of broken plastic and one small screw that held it all together. Unfortunately, I didn't get any pictures of that because I'm an idiot and I'm still working on getting my mindset to record all of this stuff. At this point, the ride is going as expected. But now that I'm getting into the interesting and funner part of the route, it all starts to go wrong. As I come up on this RV, the pace slows to below the speed limit, and this goes on for a while. I finally ditched the RV, and I got a little open road until I get to the less fun part of this route. It's lights, stop and go traffic, and a bit of freeway. Nothing to write home about. But I was almost run over by the moron in this Maserati that is obviously so self-important he felt no need to even take a quick look in his mirror before cutting me off. At least he was good enough to signal, so I knew I was about to get hit if I didn't mash on the brakes. Coming to the end of the freeway, and the scenery and driving promises to get more interesting, and then this. My view for the next 20 minutes while going 5 to 10 miles an hour under the limit. I can't seem to win today. After that torture, I finally arrived. On my way out, and not surprisingly, they don't have the part. Nothing against their parts department. It's not something anyone would have had in stock. Realistically, I knew they wouldn't have it. It was just a sunny, warm day, so I was using this as an excuse for a ride. They did let me know, though, if I wanted to get the OEM part, I couldn't just get the piece of plastic that broke, but I'd have to buy the whole assembly, lights and all. At this point, I'm not sure if that's the way I want to go. So I'm heading back home to figure out what I'm going to do next. I'm riding out of town and I realize I have an equipment malfunction and stop the first chance I get to fix the problem. Then this goes by. Of course, I catch up and spend the next 20 minutes behind this truck going under the speed limit. I try not to follow too close to help with the view, but in the end, there was really nothing I could do with it. I can almost hear you screaming at me, telling me just go around. The problem is these roads are not particularly straight, and that's a big truck. And even if I attained speeds way over the speed limit, I'd be driving into oncoming traffic for an extended period of time. On a personal note, I've been driving for 36 years without a moving violation, and you don't achieve that by stupidly breaking the law. Finally, with my luck, I would have started to pass and be looking straight at this. The truck finally gets out of my way, just in time to get back onto the boring freeway and stop and go traffic. Okay, now back to the section of the road the RV ruined in the beginning, and I finally catch a bit of a break. I get a Porsche in front of me. It is a slow Porsche, but I am able to attain some almost acceptable speeds on the funner part of the way home. But now I have nothing to say. So for a minute, I'll show you some of the curves and then move on to the second part of this disaster. Two days later, and I get out my tools and go to work. I'm doing the second temporary fix. Originally, I just glued a piece of black plastic over the hole to get by, but that removed the license plate light. With a slight rearranging of the existing parts and an overnight delivery of an LED license plate holder, I will have the second temporary solution that gets me back to legal. After the dealer visit, I decided that the OEM option is going to be my last resort. So I started doing some internet research, and surprisingly, I found some aftermarket parts that I hope will be a good permanent fix. But those parts aren't going to be here for a few weeks, so that'll have to be another video altogether. Camera placement turned out to be an issue during this process. I will work to make it better in the future, but for this video it was so bad, I'm just going to point out some of the highlights and then show you the end product. Right now I'm removing the rear fender. I have to do this to get to the rest of the assembly that now needs to be removed because of the broken piece. With the fender removed and a bunch of bolts later, I've finally gotten to the actual assembly I ultimately needed to access. In hindsight, I should have pulled out the socket set, but instead I struggle with the wrench. Then the struggle continues, trying to figure out how to piece this together using the LED plate holder and existing parts. It took me a while, but I finally figured it out and I moved on. At this point, I have it all situated in its final configuration, and the wiring is done. This is not the prettiest thing ever, but it will work, and more importantly, it keeps me legal for the time being. All that's left is for me to reassemble the component parts, drop the camera, and reattach the completed fender, and finally show you how it ended up. While this goes on, I'll give you my final thoughts. Unfortunately, that means you'll have to stay to the end in order to see how it turned out. I may have mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. Even though in my videos I will occasionally use tools and get dirty and even attempt to do mechanical work on the Spyder and the Frontier, I am not a mechanic, and this is not a how-to channel. I am so bad that if the instructions say 2 hours, it takes me 2 days. I will gladly show you what I can do, and what I can't, I will pay someone else to do and show you what they did. I really hope you like the videos, but emulate them at your own risk. Now, here are some shots of how the Spyder turned out. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Have a day.